An infinite number of choices are available in any moment. So this sounds a little like far-fetched because we think that there is A, B, sometimes there's a C and a D, but not many choices. But this is what came through in my download this morning in my automatic writing. It's about the infinite number of choices available in any given moment. And they wanted you to know, they want us to know that how it works, kind of like the idea of choices. So I had written pages and pages on choices this morning. And so the first thing is that there are infinite number of choices in any given moment for you to make. What happens is our human brain or our mind sorts them immediately. So we have a filter system through which we sort the choices. We negate or dismiss some of them right off the bat because they seem either outrageous, they couldn't possibly come true, they're outside of my reach, or they are just ridiculous. So those ones get filtered out right away. We don't even consciously comprehend them or think of them. They just get put to the side immediately. The next thing is then we sort the remaining options into good choices and bad choices. And the thing is, though, is to notice or to realize that the sorting process is through the filter of our subjective belief or training or history about what is good and bad. So no two people will think that one choice is good and one choice is bad. We just don't, we have our own filter system. So even inside of one family, maybe the son wants to go to college. Well, the father will think one direction is good, the mother will think another direction is good, and the son will have his own point of view about which is a good choice and a bad choice. So how we can think that the whole world is going to, agree with our choices is ridiculous. But in the sorting process, realize that it is our history and our subjective beliefs that are sorting them. So we automatically put the bad choices over here and we don't look twice at them. Some of the sorting process is done by, I think that's outrageous. Like, I couldn't possibly do that. Or who would I be? So some of our beliefs that are sorting choices into the bad choice pile are beliefs about our limiting beliefs about ourselves. So I'm not smart enough to do that. Who am I to do that? That would be too difficult. That would be outrageous. All those kinds of things. So I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. I'm not smart. Whatever it is. So those go into the bad choice pile. And again, we don't look twice at them. So there goes a whole bunch of possibilities that we have sorted out and don't look twice at. So just know, it's just the noticing of it that will break, when we shed light on it, it's like, oh, let me just look in that pile again. Let me have a second look over there. Maybe I've discarded something that is actually worth exploring. The other thing is the human mind. So now we have our good pile. So we're now looking at the good pile and we think, now we're going to analyze which choice is most probable. What are the pro-con lists to it? What are the things I would have to do? Would I have to involve other people? Is it going to take a lot of work? And then your mind goes into trying to predict the future. So what is the probable outcome if I make this choice? If I choose this job over that job, what is the probable outcome? And you know what? That is a trick that our mind plays on us, because in reality, we do not have control over the outcome. There are too many moving parts. We all have free will, which means that we encroach on each other's the mechanics of it all the time. So there's no actual predicting which one will work out, but our human mind likes to have the probability. So then we sort the good choice pile into more that are more probable, more likely, which ones will take the least time or the most time, what would be the probable outcome and all that. So we go into this big analyzing thing. Now, all of this can happen in the snap of a finger, or it could be a process that we'd go through for bigger choices. What we think is a big choice could take days and days. So, but in the moment, for instance, I was eating my breakfast on the deck this morning and the phone kept ringing and interrupting my meditation. So I was like, in that moment, I made a choice. Do I keep going back into my meditation, or do I just take off the headphones and go on with my day? So it's a choice that's made like that. But a new job, we give more weight to, so we take a lot longer to make choices. But the process is pretty much the same. The universe wanted us to, so the channeling this morning was, first of all, find comfort in, and this has been coming through in readings for me for years and years, is that you cannot make a wrong choice. I'm going to say it again. You cannot make a wrong choice. It may feel like it, and I get a lot of pushback when this comes up in readings or coaching for people, because they're like, oh no, I remember a time that I made a choice and it was not a good one and it did not turn out well. So we're going to get into it a little bit in a couple of minutes about why you cannot make a wrong choice and how the universe will always be supportive. So first of all, that's the hint. The universe is always for you, not against you or to you. The universe is always supportive. We just have to know the foundational pieces to build upon to make the choices. So here's one the first one that you want to know is that the universe is inclusive. It's inclusive. Nothing is left out. So when you say when you focus on something, it includes it in your life. It's always including. It will not exclude something. So when I say, I don't want this, this shows up because it is an inclusive universe. It brings everything that you focus on to you. And we've heard this in so many ways, but it's kind of like this is the linchpin or the key piece that has choices work for us. Okay, so that was the first thing that they want. That was like the priority. I had to put stars beside it and everything. So it is an inclusive universe. The second thing to know is you need to know what you want. You need to know what the ultimate goal is or the ultimate outcome is from your choices. So I'm going to choose A because I want to get to B, right? I'm going to choose 1 because I want to get to 2. But you need to know what you want. And you may have heard, probably several times, that usually when we ask people, or even ourselves, what do you want? The immediate answer is, well, I don't want to be broke anymore. Great. So what do you want? And then the answer is, well, I'm tired of being lonely, or I'm tired of being alone. Great. Remember, the universe is inclusive. So alone then gets included. Broke then gets included. So what is it that you do want? And usually when we finally get to the point where somebody, if I'm having a conversation with somebody, they'll be like, oh, well, I'm not really sure. And that is the key to being able to make choices that align with what you really want and who you really are. And the universe will line up right behind you and push things through. So the question is, what do you want? So as we choose what we want, as we decide what we want, there's also one other key piece to know, is that the universe the language of the universe is not words. The language of the universe is vibration. Because there's how many languages in the world? Thousands and thousands. So it does not operate on words. It operates on vibration. So, and the indicator of our vibration is how we feel. So even though you might think the word freedom, it's how it feels in your body that actually matters. So freedom for one person could translate into fear in their body. Like, oh, too much freedom. I don't like, that's scary. So that will feel one way to somebody. Or another person, freedom will just be like expansive and light and joyful and all that kind of stuff. So it's not so much about the words that you use. It's about how the words feel in your body. Because the universe will then include other things that feel the same way. So, when I do workshops, we do an exercise around how, I call it setting the GPS. So how do you want to, what do you want? So every day I would like to feel this way. So one example that came up during a workshop, and I use this example all the time, is a cat in the sun. That was one lady's, that was how she wanted to feel every day, was cat in the sun. And for her, it was the feeling of when she watched her cat sitting on the back of the couch in the front window, in the sunshine. And it would just, this feeling of warmth and rays of the sun beating down on you, and the freedom to just laze there and be totally just in your own space for as long as you wanted. And then to just kind of languidly just, oh yeah. So that's how she wanted to feel. She wanted this feel of freedom, of sunlight, of personal space and boundaries, all of that stuff wrapped into the feeling. For her, she just described it as cat in the sun. So knowing what you want and how it feels is the key to making choices. Because two things occur. One, you're vibrating to the universe how you want to feel. So then it will include other things that feel that way. Two is you've now added that requirement to your filter system on your human mind. So when I now make choices, how I filter them will also be filtered not only from my beliefs and all that kind of stuff that we've got going on, but also cat in the sun. So when I make choices, what lines up with that? My mind, my humanness will notice what fits the parameters of cat in the sun out of the many, 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 many choices that are available. Got it? Okay. So next thing. So it's an inclusive one. So, and let's see, inclusive, universe speaks in vibration, know what you want, choice. Okay, so here's the distinction about choices as well. So this came through about, 8 years ago or so, the distinction between choice and decision. And it's just a way of noticing what you're doing in the moment. There's not a good one or a bad one or anything like that. So a decision is made in your head. It has a pro-con list. It has a to-do list. And it's always based on outside circumstances. So I always say I wouldn't buy stocks without it. So, but making a decision is a very human thing. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you know you're making a decision. And that decision may change according to outside circumstances. Maybe it's you're going on vacation. So I live in a town where you have to get here by ferry from the mainland. So making a decision is sometimes based on which ferry we're going to catch. And if we miss one ferry, then decisions will change because that's an outside circumstances. And the timeline may alter a little bit. That's fine. That's a decision. A choice is made here. It's made in your heart. It's made with your intuition. It's made with that connection to your higher self and the universe and all that is. There is no pro-con list. It's not based on outside circumstances. So even though the decision about which ferry to take might change, the choice of going on vacation or going to this destination won't change. So a choice is also something that you can't explain necessarily to other people. So a choice is because it feels right. And that's pretty much the only explanation, because it's an intuitive hit, because it's a connection with our higher self, it doesn't always translate into an explanation. Now, when we make a choice, when somebody asks, well, why did you, how come you chose that? Just because it felt good. That's it. Stop. Because the minute you try to justify a choice made with your intuition and your heart, the minute you try and justify it, it gets muddy. It gets murky. And that's when we start to second guess ourselves. Well, yeah, there's no logical reason why I would do that. So why would, maybe I'm making a wrong choice. No. Go with your gut. Trust me. So that's a distinction between a choice and a decision. They're both perfectly fine. Just know which one you're making, and then don't justify a choice, right? Okay. So then the next thing to note was they wrote down was you can always choose again. You can make one choice now, and you can always choose again. There's nothing wrong with, you find yourself going down a path that you don't prefer. You're like, wait a minute. You know what? It doesn't feel right anymore. Maybe I wasn't supposed to go down this far, whatever. It just doesn't feel right. Okay. So let me just stop, take a breath, shake it out. I do a lot of shaking. Shake it out and then choose again. Okay. In this moment, what feels right now? Oh, okay. I'm just going to veer a little bit to the left or a little to the right, or I'm going to just stop and have a break or whatever. So you can always choose again. This is why these are all the foundation pieces of why you can never make a wrong choice. The last thing is that the universe is always on your side. It's always on your side. Now, looking back, doesn't always feel like that, because our human self would like to say that, nope, this was an awful experience or whatever. Now, if you watch the video from yesterday, you'll know that our souls chose to come to Earth to experience. So actually, every experience is perfect, because that's what we came to do, was experience emotions. So, but if you can look back, and sometimes we need a little space, but if you can look back, sometimes the worst things that we were going through, the crappiest moments, turned out to be the best gift. There's a song, I can't remember what it is, but sometimes the answer to your prayer is no. Yeah. And I can look back and think that the worst breakup of my life was, thank goodness the answer was no, because it would be way worse if we had stayed together. Much, much worse. It would have been a much longer, big mess, chaotic mess. So even though in the moment it felt like crap and I had totally made the wrong choice, and obviously I didn't know what I was doing for myself and nobody was on my side, but now I'm like, no, that was a good one. And sometimes when we make a choice and it all falls apart, we're then in a place where we are so not thinking straight that we can then actually follow our gut. The next moment, we're so befuddled by everything that our human brain doesn't have the wherewithal to sort those choices, and we make one that's really with our gut. We just follow the next kind of thing we're led to, which turns out to be fantastic, or at least better, right? So you can never make a wrong choice. The universe is inclusive, and the universe is always on your side. So let me know in the comments below if you made a choice today, or if this brought light to or any inspiration to your choice making. Just kind of bring to mind, the more we bring light to how we do life, the more options we have, the more possibilities there are. And bringing light to something that has been dark for a long time is the best way to let it go. Okay, guys, I love you. Make fabulous choices today with your heart, and I will see you all soon. Mwah!